Chapter 3. Ripples from a Distant War. The fireworks were magnificently terrifying. Beyond the yawning gate, Market Town was all light and music and aroma and heat. Outside of town, though, night gloomed, grim and vast. A sea of tents had sprouted up around the east gate of Market Town. But these were not market tents. The tents were gloomy, ragged, whipping in the clutch of spring gusts. The tents huddled up against the town, clinging to the moat like mold on a wet bread loaf. Gaunt people huddled in clumps around little grass fires and half-destroyed tents. Granaka grew tense, militant, alert. Aka was a gentle woman, a gentle old woman, notoriously gentle, gentle to a fault. Nala got that from her. But in an old life, Aka had actually been a soldier, a warring witch. That's what Nala's mama said anyway. Apparently it had been a brief chapter in Gran's long life, less than a decade. Still, the battles she'd been in had been bad ones, bloody, intense. 4, if Nala remembered right, 4 battles. Usually it was hard to imagine Granaka as a soldier. It just seemed so unlike her. She was Gran, the soup witch, the storytelling, curtain crafting, apology blurting Gran. But Nala could see it now. Gran was edgy. She gripped Nala's hand a little too tight, but Nala refrained from complaining. Strange, Aka murmured. What's strange? Nala asked. Gran shrugged, looking pale. Just so many people. But no magic, no wear-lights, no... I don't feel anything from any of them. Very strange, very strange. Huh, said Nala. Weird. Why is that? Gran shrugged, eyes nervous. Could be a curse. Nala gulped. What kind of curse? There are as many curses, Gran said, as there are flavors of flowers. Some of them take magic away. Some forever? Nala asked. Some, Gran whispered. These things happen, usually in war. War, Nala thought, feeling sick. Have you ever cursed anyone? Nala asked. Aka thought about it before pursing her green lips. She looked down at Nala. Some. Nala studied her Gran then. Have you ever cured a curse? Nala asked. Gran was about to answer when an explosion of flame rent the quiet apart. Aka jumped, flinching, and squeezed Nala's hand. Ow, said Nala. Sorry, Gran muttered, though she did not loosen her grip. A few crowds cheered within Market Town's tall gates, and Nala's eyes went to a miraculous spectacle of fire, twisting higher and higher above the town, up toward the clouds as if to try and tickle the moon. But there, between the town and them, hundreds of hollow-eyed strangers stood solemn among the tents. Their eyes did not go to the fireworks. No, they rested fixed on Nala and Aka. Stay close, Gran whispered, and kept her grip tight. Nala tongued her sore tusk. They were close enough now that Nala could make out faces, expressions, cheekbones. As she looked, her mind went elsewhere. It drifted to the boy from her dreams, so starved that his lungs burned when he breathed. She felt it. She felt it almost every night now. War. Most of the faces Nala saw were blue-skinned orcs, with white or red eyes. Some of these strangers had light skin, the shade of pale sapphire, forgetting how to glitter at the moon's touch. War. Others had dark blue skin, almost blue-black. One mother was so dirty, Nala couldn't tell the color of her skin, or her clothes, or where one ended and the other began. The woman stared out into nothing. She held her sleeping youngest in her arms, while 3 older kids clung to her cloak. So many dry lips, Nala thought. So many scabbed faces. For all their worry, Nala and her Gran passed through the tents without event. Only when they finally made it to the East Gate drawbridge would Nala let herself breathe out. "You all right?" Gran asked. "Uh-huh," said Nala, trying to convince herself. "You?" "Uh-huh." The full moon was risen. There were other werelights now, all of them tethered to locals. For every local, there must have been 3 dozen refugees, maybe more. Nala's werelight flickered and swelled above her head, strangely swollen in the moon's mellow glow. They were deep in the crowd, shoulder to shoulder with so many strangers. The crowd got so thick around them that it was hard to change direction. Nala gripped Gran's hand with both of hers. "Should we try Southgate?" Nala said. "It looks less crowded." "What?" said Gran, cupping her ear. "I said it looks less crowded." "What does?" "Southgate." "Oh," said Gran, looking. Then she giggled. "Too late." The tents disappeared behind a thrush of pressing bodies. The wooden bridge beneath Nala's feet creaked and groaned under the weight of too many feet. The crowd carried them from the furthest northern foothills to the mage riders in the south. Every family and face Nala knew seemed to be there that night. Every family but hers. It's just that this time those familiar faces swam in a sea of strangers, outnumbered 9-1. As Nala shuffled under the town's gate, swept onward by the crowd, she looked up. Hissed the wind, whistling past them. The gate above them had rough iron teeth. Its jagged points hung heavy above them, threatening to fall and clamp down on her like some horrible monster's hungry maw. Oh, that would be awful, Nala thought. She imagined the gate's jaws biting down on the crowd. She imagined a spray of... Think of something else. She studied her werelight. It was such a full moon. The flame's colors danced through the shadow of every color. The open, rural valley dissolved behind them, and still holding hands, they entered the claustrophobic din. The town of Orkshire was buzzing. Strangers shuffled on either side of her, bumbling against Nala's shoulders. Body odor everywhere. Heavy perfumes from the locals dressed their festival best. Unwashed bodies and spices on display, and cut lemons and seared meat and fire smoke and freshly baked bread. All the smells overlapped like her worst true dreams did. Even the sensations that were nice made her eyes water. Everywhere she heard bones changing hands. Bones were what orcs called their coins. Everywhere silver coins were being tossed into copper cups and stone bowls. Yellow moonlight shivered on the silver slivers as they glinted, gleeful through the air. More orcs than she had ever seen before. All her life, Nala would go back and remember the sound of those pay buckets singing, clanging, cutting through the din. Customers sauntered smug through the crowd, shoulder to shoulder with envious blue faces. "I'm hungry," Nala realized aloud. Gran laughed. "But we just ate." Nala blushed and grinned and shrugged. Nala followed Gran's eyes to some couple, clinking their cheap clay cups together. Ting. They were children to a ka, but grown-ups in Nala's eyes. "Fine," said Gran, shaking her head. "But first, Gran is going to need some scrumpy."